Welcome back to my channel. Today we explore the value of specific coins, the top 8 most valuable US Monticello Jefferson Nickels coins. Value in market. First, 1984 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark. The 1984 Jefferson nickel from the Philadelphia Mint is generally considered a common coin, but there are still factors that make some of these coins more valuable than others. In circulated condition, like you might find in pocket change, the 1984 P nickel isn't worth much above its face value. However, in uncirculated or mint condition, things start to get more interesting. Mint state or MS coins are graded on a scale from 60 to 70. For example, a 1984 Jefferson nickel with an MS65 grade is relatively high and can fetch a few dollars, sometimes even $10 or $15. Now, if you've got an error coin, that's a different story altogether. 1984 PH Jefferson nickels with mint errors like off-center strikes or double dies can command a premium, with some selling for over $100 or even more depending on the error. To sum it up, while most 1984 P Jefferson nickels won't make you rich, a high-grade or error coin can be worth a nice little chunk of change, so keep an eye out when you're going through your pocket change or coin collection. Next up, the most intriguing coins in US history, the 1972 with D mint mark Jefferson nickel. Before we get to the values, here's some quick background on the Jefferson nickel. This series has been around since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. It was designed by Felix Schlag and honors Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, with Monticello on the reverse. In 1972, over 250 million of these coins were struck at the Denver Mint, marked with the iconic D mint mark. So what makes certain 1972 with D Jefferson nickels stand out in value? It mainly comes down to 3 factors: condition, demand, and rarity. For coins like this, even a small difference in condition can mean big changes in price. Although not rare by mintage numbers, high-grade specimens and certain varieties make this nickel especially sought after. For collectors, coin grading is key to determining value. A 1972 D nickel in fine condition shows some wear but has clearly visible details on Jefferson's face, the lettering, and Monticello. Collectors are generally looking for high-grade coins, but even a fine-conditioned coin can bring a decent price, especially if the coin has well-preserved details. Now let's talk about value. In today's market, a 1972 with D Jefferson nickel in fine condition is typically valued between 10 cents to 50 cents. Yes, that's 2 to 10 times its face value. However, if it has strong detail for its grade, a collector might pay even more. As condition improves, prices can jump significantly, with high-grade examples reaching values well above $20. So, should you cash in now or hold on to your 1972 WHD? If it's in average fine condition, its value might not skyrocket, but higher grades or full steps coins could continue appreciating as collectors seek to complete Jefferson nickel sets. If you're in it for the long haul, holding on to a well-preserved example might be worth it. Next up, valuable Jefferson nickel from the 1990s, the 1995 with D in extra fine condition. So, let's talk about the 1995 D Jefferson nickel. These were minted in Denver, and since it's relatively recent, many of these coins are still in circulation. You might even have one in your pocket right now. But finding one in extra fine or better condition can add quite a bit to its value. When it comes to grading, an extra fine or XF condition coin has only light wear. You'll still see most of the details in Jefferson's hair and the Monticello building. These details are key for collectors and can make or break the coin's value. Now for the big question. How much is a 1995 D Jefferson nickel in XF condition worth? On today's market, an extra fine 1995 D Jefferson nickel can sell for around 25 cents to $1, depending on demand and where you're selling it. But if you have one in even higher condition, like AU or MS, prices can go up significantly. Now, that may not seem like a lot, but remember that these coins are still relatively common. If you're a collector, adding one in XF condition to your set is a fantastic way to build your Jefferson nickel collection. Plus, higher conditioned coins could become more valuable in the future. Next up, the 1971 with D mint mark Jefferson nickel in extremely fine condition. The Jefferson nickel was introduced back in 1938, and for over 80 years, it's remained a staple in American pocket change. The 1971 D nickel, minted in Denver, may not be a rare date, but certain factors, including its condition, make it desirable among collectors. Now, let's talk about the condition. When we say a coin is in extremely fine or EF condition, we're talking about a coin with light wear on the high points. For a 1971 D nickel, that means Jefferson's hair and Monticello should still show good detail, but might have slight wear. This level of preservation makes a difference in its value. While 1971 D nickels are generally common, certain traits can add value. For instance, nickels with minting errors like double D strikes, misplaced mint marks, or dramatic die cracks can sell for much higher prices. So, if you find one with any of these errors, it's worth more than just face value. So, what is a 1971 D nickel in extremely fine condition worth today? Based on recent market data, a standard 1971 D nickel without any major errors in EF condition typically sells for around 10 to 25 cents, not a fortune, but more than face value. However, if you have one with unique mint errors, values can jump dramatically, sometimes reaching $20 or even higher in certain auctions. If you're hunting for valuable 1971 nickels, here are a few tips. First, always inspect your coins with a magnifying glass to catch those fine details. Second, research any unique features you find that could add serious value. Lastly, consider grading any potentially valuable pieces to maximize their sale potential. Next up, the 1965 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark. But here's the twist. We're talking about those coins in dirty or heavily circulated condition. Let's start with a little background. The 1965 Jefferson nickel was made during a transitional period in the US Mint. You'll notice these coins don't have a mint mark because at that time the mint wanted to discourage hoarding and speculation. They were primarily produced in Philadelphia, and around 136 million of them were made that year. Now let's talk about value. Coins in dirty or worn-out condition typically don't hold as much value as pristine examples. Collectors usually look for coins with minimal wear and strong details. However, there are exceptions, especially if there are any unique errors or if the coin has certain high-grade characteristics that can shine through even with wear. But, in general, if you have a heavily circulated 1965 Jefferson nickel, here's what you can expect. On today's market, a 1965 Jefferson nickel in heavily circulated or dirty condition typically sells for around 5 to 15 cents. Yeah, I know that's not much of a jump from face value, but there are cases where they might go for a bit more. If you have one in slightly better condition, say with more visible details, you might see them sell between 50 cents and $1. It's not a huge profit. Oh, I don't know, but now here's where it can get interesting. Even in circulated condition, look out for any potential errors. Some 1965 Jefferson nickels can have small die errors, like doubled dies or off-center strikes. Error coins can be worth anywhere from a few dollars to over $100, depending on rarity and demand, even if they're worn out. So, should you keep that dirty 1965 nickel? Well, if it's in poor condition, it's probably best as part of a collection or pocket change. But if you're lucky enough to spot an error or unique characteristic, it might be worth holding on to or getting appraised. Next up, US coinage the 2000 with P Mint mark Jefferson nickel. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple in US currency since 1938, featuring our third president on the obverse. The 2000p or Philadelphia Mint nickel holds a special place in recent coinage due to its rarity in certain conditions. While many coins from the year 2000 are common, there are select high-quality coins that carry added value, and we'll get to that shortly. First, what exactly should collectors be on the lookout for? When it comes to value, the condition of the coin is everything. A coin graded as fine condition won't have the sharpest details, but it should still have a clear profile of Jefferson and distinct features. And don't forget the all-important P mint mark on the obverse side, indicating it was minted in Philadelphia. Now, let's talk about market value. In fine condition, the 2000p Jefferson nickel doesn't fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars like some older or error nickels, but it's still worth more than face value. As of today's market, a 2000p Jefferson nickel in fine condition is worth around 15 to 30 cents. While this might not sound like a huge amount, it's still a nice profit if you find a few of them lying around. While the 2000 with P Jefferson nickel in fine condition might not be a jackpot, its value could increase over time. With fewer high-quality nickels in circulation each year, coins like this could eventually become harder to find, potentially driving up their value. So, it's worth holding on to those coins just in case. Next up, the 1969 Jefferson nickel with the Denver mint mark, or the D mint mark, especially in extra fine condition. First, a little background. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938 and is still being produced today. But not every Jefferson nickel is the same. Some years and mint marks make them highly collectible, and that's where the 1969 D comes into play. In fact, any nickel minted with a D mark comes from the Denver Mint. So why is the 1969 D Jefferson nickel special? First, it wasn't minted in huge numbers like other years, which already adds some scarcity. Secondly, the quality of coins produced in 1969 at the Denver Mint was particularly good, meaning collectors are more likely to find examples in higher grades, like extra fine. And, for collectors, quality matters. Higher grade coins always fetch a higher prices. Now let's talk value. If you've got a 1969 with D Jefferson nickel in extra fine condition, you're looking at a value between 75 cents and $2 in today's market. While that might not sound like a huge jump, it's a good return for a coin that's face value is only 5 cents. And this is the range just for X-grade coins. If you find one in even higher conditions, like almost uncirculated or mint state, you're looking at even better value. So how do you know if your 1969 with D Jefferson nickel is in extra fine condition? Look for clear details, especially on Thomas Jefferson's hair and the Monticello building on the reverse side. An XF-grade coin will show only slight wear, mainly on the highest points of the coin. If your nickel shows more significant wear or lacks detail, it may be in a lower grade. While the 1969 D may not be the rarest Jefferson nickel out there, its value in XF condition makes it a nice collectible piece. And remember, certain coins from this series, especially those with errors or varieties, can go for much more. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more coin collecting content. See you in the next video.